Jury deliberations continue at Donald Trump's criminal trial. The jury has sent a few notes to Justice Merchan. I'll go over some of those in just a little bit and what's taken place this morning. As Donald Trump arrived to his criminal trial, he was looking tired and slightly lost. By his side was Todd Blanche, his lawyer, who looks like a human mannequin at this point. And as Adam Parkhomenko stated, has Trump's attorney been standing there since yesterday? It looks like Trump's attorney hasn't moved from the same position since the beginning of trial several weeks ago. Donald Trump was reading off pieces of paper that his political action committee pays a lady to follow him around to print off articles that the campaign thinks that Donald Trump will like from right-wing propagandists. And Donald Trump read that to the press. As Rachel Vindman says, "I'm not an attorney, but it's my understanding that people give evidence inside the courtroom, not outside the courthouse." Donald Trump reads off this piece of paper. Of course, he was too cowardly to testify at the criminal trial, but Donald Trump wants to testify to the press by reading this piece of paper, or I should say, struggling to read this piece of paper. But let's play the clip of what went down.
This is called running for office. Greg Jarrett, the government, which received full payment on all taxable income. The government, by the way, received full payment. The taxes were paid in full. In fact, they made comment on that. Even if the taxes were paid in full, the Federal Elections Commission that concluded the money paid did not constitute a campaign contribution under the law. And remember, this judge wouldn't allow us. Look, he's a very conflicted judge. Everybody knows that. You don't want to talk about what the conflict was. I'm not allowed to talk about it because of a gag order that he put on me. So one subject he really doesn't want to talk about.
Then Donald Trump states that New York is going to lose, get this, he says, trillions and trillions of dollars because of the legal cases against Donald Trump. That's some of the lies that Donald Trump wants to spread this morning, that this will cost New York trillions of dollars. How about quadrillion bazillions? I mean, it's so ridiculous, but play this clip.
He's going to be overturned again. And we were treated very, very badly. And the outside world is watching, and the outside world is just not going to bring their business to New York. And that's going to cost the city trillions and the state trillions and trillions of dollars. Businesses are leaving, and people are fleeing. So you can see the quotes yourself, and thank you all very much. We'll comment later on in the evening, but we'll be here, it looks like a long time. Thank you.
And you'll recall that Donald Trump is in a kind of a small conference room while the jury deliberates. Trump is surrounded by junk food in that small conference room, and he and Eric, or he and Don Jr. are in there talking about the mean posts they want to make on social media. Like, here's a clip of Donald Trump with Don Jr. inside the small conference room. You'll see Donald Trump surrounded by junk food, and Don Jr.'s like, "Hey, Dan, tell him about the mean tweets you want to send." And Donald Trump's like, "Well, you send the mean tweets. You do a great job. I'm proud of your mean tweets, son." This is the status of the Republican Party today. Here, play this clip.
Hey guys, I'm here with your favorite president. We're cranking out a couple mean tweets at the courthouse. Why don't you read that last one, because I think it's pretty epic.
I think I'm going to put it out instead of reading it, but I know my son's doing very well on social media. I'm proud of him.
Stay tuned. It'll be a doozy.
So as noted, the jury has sent a few notes to Justice Merchan, some notable ones. They requested a readback of certain portions of trial testimony regarding the Trump Tower meeting that took place, regarding Pecker's testimony, some testimony from Michael Cohen, a testimony regarding the meeting at Trump Tower where the catch and kill scheme was created. That's being read to the jury right now. The jury also requested a readback of certain portions of jury instructions, starting with page 6 about evidence and inferences that can be drawn from evidence and circumstantial evidence, which was interesting. They wanted to start there. And they specifically said to the judge to read the instruction about if you see kind of rain on the grass in the morning, but you don't know that it rained the evening, but you see water on the grass in the morning, can you make an inference that it rained the night before? And so the judge judge began reading the instructions starting on that page, which was page 6 of the jury instructions. Also interesting, the jury requested headphones, and many people believe that that is so that they can listen to the recording of Donald Trump and Michael Cohen, where they were talking about the catch and kill scheme and Cohen opening up the account. So those were the notes that the jury requested. Or the notes that the jury sent and the requests that they made in those notes. Justice Merchan read the jury instructions. The court reporters are reading the portions of the testimony, and the judge gave them headphones or speakers, whatever they prefer. Donald Trump has his kind of right-wing propaganda machine out in full effect right now. Like, here's Jeanine Pirro from Fox saying, and again, she was a former judge, so she knows what she's saying is just like a complete and utter lie. And she goes, Donald Trump's being denied his Fifth Amendment right to know the charges against him in the indictment throughout the trial. Like, what are we even talking about? This is a falsification of business records case. Everybody knows what the charges are. It's very clear what the charges are, but this is what Fox is spewing. Play this clip.
And all of a sudden, this defendant now is finding out what the other crime is. He was denied his Fifth Amendment right to know the charges against him in the indictment, the bill of particulars, discovery, and in the opening statement, and throughout the trial.
And just so you see, this is the pattern of propaganda. This is very intentional. This is a message that Trump and his team are pushing and telling Fox to push, and Fox pushes it as just a propaganda arm, versus going through the evidence and the facts and what's, really happening here and what's at stake. And so here, for example, is what Sean Hannity is talking about, and kind of the same thing, saying that if Sean Hannity says it's a Sixth Amendment violation, Jeanine Pirro says it's a Fifth Amendment violation, but Hannity says, doesn't know the crimes, he doesn't know what this case is even about. I mean, it's such rubbish. But here, play this clip.
According to Cornell law, the Sixth Amendment of our Constitution, it grants all Americans, quote, the right to know who your accusers are, the nature of the charges, and evidence against you. So what is the election crime that Trump is being accused of, and who's making the allegation? The prosecution? They never answered these questions. And now the judge is allowing the jury to choose, pretty much their own adventure. Pick whatever crime works for you. As long as there's 12 of you, it doesn't matter the reason. You don't have to agree on that. Just agree that you hate the guy and want him to be guilty. It doesn't even need to be unanimous. This is totally unconstitutional, beyond unethical. Judge Merchan is clearly trying to help the prosecution get this across the finish line despite no evidence of any crime.
And then they bring on Eric Trump on Fox, and Eric Trump repeats the false claim that Justice Merchan's daughter set up a social media account that has Donald Trump behind bars, which again is 100% just false, just a false statement, but that's what they repeat on Fox. It doesn't matter to them. Just repeat these false things over and over again. Here, play this clip.
And his daughter is reportedly making millions and millions of dollars, and reportedly has a screenshot on her, social profiles of my father behind bars, and he won't recuse himself after voting to stop Republicans.
Going back to what does matter, though, right here are the types of jury instructions that the jury has requested. So evidence, this is, so that what the jury gets is the judge reads the jury a number of model jury instructions that exist in every case. Then there are some jury instructions specific to this case. This is a jury instruction about the evidence at issue, and here's what it says. It says, when you judge the facts, you are to consider only the evidence. The evidence in this case includes the testimony of the witnesses, the exhibits that were received in evidence, and the stipulations agreed to by the parties. Remember, a stipulation is information that the parties have agreed to present to the jury as evidence without calling a witness to testify. Testimony which was stricken from the record or which an objection was sustained must be disregarded by you. Exhibits that were received in evidence are available upon your request for your inspection and consideration. Exhibits that were just seen during the trial are marked for identification but not received in evidence are not evidence and are thus not available for your inspection and consideration. but testimony based on those exhibits that were not received in evidence may be considered by you. It's just that the exhibit itself is not available for your inspection and consideration. Evidentiary inferences. So again, I'm reading this to you because this is what the judge just read the jury. When we're talking about jury instructions, this is what we're talking about. Evidentiary inferences. So the judge would read this to the jury. In evaluating the evidence, you may consider any fact that is proven and any inference which may be drawn from such fact. To draw an inference means to infer, find, conclude that a fact exists or does not exist based upon proof of some other fact or facts. For example, suppose you go to bed one night when it is not raining, and when you wake up in the morning, you look out your window, you do not see rain, but you see the street and sidewalk are wet, and that people are wearing raincoats and carrying umbrellas. Under those circumstances, it may be reasonable to infer, that is, conclude that it rained during the night. In other words, the fact of it having rained while you were asleep is an inference that might be drawn from the proven facts of the presence of the water on the street and sidewalk and people in raincoats and carrying umbrellas. An inference must only be drawn from a proven fact or facts, and then only if the inference flows naturally, reasonably, and logically from the proven fact or facts, not if it is speculative. Therefore, in deciding whether to draw an inference, you must look at and consider the facts in light of reason, common sense, and experience. So I think it's interesting that the jury specifically wanted that to be read to them. They wanted the other instructions read to them as well, and it's possible they were just saying that to say, hey, start at that instruction, but that's a significant instruction. The fact that they're focused on testimony regarding the Trump Tower meeting, I think, is significant. And the fact that they want the headphones seems to suggest that they want to listen carefully to the conversation between Michael Cohen and Donald Trump about Cohen setting up the account and the payments being made. And the fact that they want to have the instructions about inferences, I think, is important too. I mean, I think that the jury's directly focused on, they're very targeted in these questions. They're focused on the mens rea, which is Donald Trump's intent. And I think that's directly where their focus is on right now. And I think that's important. I don't want to read, are these good instructions? Are these good questions, bad notes? I mean, they're focused on the key issue right now. And I think that's what's most important. And we'll keep you updated as the day progresses. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers thanks to your support. It's free to subscribe, so hit it now.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.